time. It is time again, and we say welcome as we continue to celebrate International I Love Me Day on the Diana Wright Show live every morning and in the evening when we have a guest. We try to be with you also at 8 o'clock. So we thank you so much for joining us, and I'm not supposed to be hearing myself back. So I'm trying to figure out why I am, okay? Anyway, I think the board just acts up some days, and some days it doesn't. It's perfect, and that's just how life is, isn't it? Okay. All right. I am just trying to come to you this morning in a way to ask you, please, to try to live in the supernatural. Why am I asking you to do this? Because it is important for you to do that, to live in the supernatural, and also to celebrate your life, because life is so precious, and in an instant it can be taken away. So why do we spend so much time hating each other? Why do we do that? I simply cannot understand why people decide and get up to do evil, to hate, to be jealous, to be envious, and to try their best to hurt other people. I'm just not feeling that. I'm not just getting that. I am just totally and utterly confused about that thing. And I just wonder how many of us take the time to reflect and enjoy each day of our lives as we are given the opportunity to wake up and open our boxes of blessings. Whether you want to have 2 boxes in your mind or 1 box, it's okay. Purple or gold, with vice versa ribbons. And as you open that box each day, what are you seeing? Are you choosing to be evil? Are you choosing to not give love? What are you choosing to do? And I hasten to tell you that if you try to live in the supernatural every single day, life will be so much better for you and your children and your family. It's crucial. And it's also crucial for you to continue to dance in the rain, no matter the tragedy or devastation that has hit your life. So what is it that is bugging you today? What is it? What negative things are you hearing in your ears that you need to kick to the curb and let it disappear? And replace it with positive things like loving yourself, like giving love, like eliminating hate, eliminating jealousy and envy from your life. Isn't that much easier? Isn't that an easier, lighter burden to carry, and forgiving those who have wronged you? Because believe me, there have been lots of people that have wronged each and every one of us. And that happens on a daily basis. We are disappointed. Remember, Pastor Sewell's book talks about the land of disappointment. How are you choosing to handle that disappointment today? Are you relishing in it? Are you still crying over it? Well, I'm here to ask you to wipe those tears up and let them go. Let them go away. Let them go away and let them be no more, as you replace the hate that you have for someone, the jealousy you have for someone, or whatever it is. Just let's erase it this day and see how you feel. I know you're going to feel better. I know you're going to be rejoicing and be glad. And as you think about, loving yourself and think about the wellness of yourself, as Rad Wellness is trying to get you to be at that place where you can be well. Because a lot of our diseases, are caused by the food that we eat sometimes. Yeah, some of it is hereditary and all that kind of good stuff. But yesterday, as I watched the news, evening news, and I saw about the turkey that we all thought, ooh, turkey is wonderful, don't eat any more red meat because, turkey's over here. Turkeys are getting antibiotics too. Hence, when you eat the turkey and you get sick from that turkey meat that you eat, the antibiotics that you're going to get, they're not going to work because the turkey is antibiotic up, which blocks the help for you. What are we supposed to eat these days? Does anyone know? I mean, every single day you get up, you have to worry about what you're eating, what you're not going to eat. Well, Doc says he's going to try to just go with the vegetables and the fruits only. And even then, he's trying to go raw. But even then, you have to think about, is there salmonella on the spinach today? What is it? When is our food going to be safe? I guess we all should start planting little gardens in our backyard. Well, I don't know how much space you have, but Dag said his son is planting the Scotch bonnet peppers and getting them to grow in a pot under a tree because they don't need a lot of light. And in order to study the whole planting thing and farming thing, you have to actually study, it's not just you. Some people just have natural green thumbs, like a friend of mine, Judith. She just has green thumbs. Anything she plants, it grows in abundance. And you have people like me who, my thumbs are not so green because I really truly don't like dirt. So maybe that's the reason the dirt rebels against me when I try to plant something. So, I don't know which way we need to go with this, but we need to go someplace with this. We need to really and truly go someplace with this whole, food thing. Yeah, I see lots of urban groups are planting things on their roofs and planting box gardens and all that. But how do we motivate ourselves to do that? And we all can't raise our own chickens in our backyards because then the chickens are going to disturb the neighbor. So I'm not quite sure what to do next and how to handle all of this information that comes to you every single day about these things. And you have the FDA and you have the this and the food inspector. Are they truly inspecting these things? Or is it just a problem that we're engineering all our food so we just don't know what we get? We're on a dangerous path, I think. And people are just becoming afraid to eat just about anything. So I'm not so sure how we handle this, but, as we go ahead, we'll figure it out and we'll find out. Let's see if I take away that button, if I can get this thing to just not be screaming at me in my ears. I'm trying to get it right here with the board. One day it's perfect and another day you get all kind of strange sounds, But anyway, we'll continue to do what we do here. It's live, so, you got to fix it while you're on. But anyway, as we continue to celebrate the t-shirts, you see I'm wearing the pink again today. And I just remind you that this is the beater, the one without the sleeve. The one with the sleeve is the fitted. And it has nice enough sleeve to cover those ladies who are, a little shy about their exposing their arms or trying to look sexy. So we have colors of black, white, and pink. And those are the colors we have, just 3, so you don't get too confused and overwhelmed. The black ones, of course, has the beautiful stones that are crystal clear. And the pink ones will have the pink stones in the future. And the white ones will have No, the white ones are going to have pink stones. I think that's what I'm going to do. And the pink ones, I'm going to change and put on purple stones on those. They cost a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. So, and I'm seriously thinking of starting my own line of clothing because it feels so wonderful to come on here every day for the past week and be wearing my own shirt. Woo! You know, so, and it's promoting something that's wonderful. Something to make you love yourself. When you put the shirt on, you not only feel sexy, you feel loved by yourself. Now, loving yourself is the only thing you have control of, I think. It's the only thing that you truly have control of. Yeah? And that's really what it is. So, where are we going to begin today? I'm going to begin, in the hate realm. Because in the hate realm, we have President Obama fighting with the Republicans who are destined, determined to block everything he does. So, let's kind of talk about gun control today. And people need to put on their sensible caps instead of their stupid caps. Republicans, you need to take the stupid cap off and put on your intelligent hat for a minute. Because Senator Toomey, the Republican from Pennsylvania, who was instrumental in helping to put this bill together for universal background checks, simple as that. And he spilled the beans yesterday to say that the reason the bill failed is because Republicans were not wanting to vote for the bill because they don't want President Obama to win. Now, I think the whole country should kind of wake up and open their ears for this because it makes absolutely no sense. They did not do this for President Obama. They're not doing this for President Obama to be successful or fail. Have they forgotten who sent them to Washington? They're doing it for the American people. Stupid. It is the American people, stupid. It is the people in Aurora. It is the people in Arizona, including Gabby Gifford. It is all the gun violence victims in the United States that you're voting for. Forget about President Obama and stop trying to, kill the country because you hate the black man that's in the White House. Let's be frank about this now. So Toomey just spilled the beans yesterday. He did. He spilled it. And everyone is trying to shame all those senators. Senator Ayotte and Rand Paul and Ted Cruz. And can they be shamed? I don't think Ted Cruz and Rand Paul can be shamed into anything. Because they're going to just be obstructionists. So all the senators who have voted against the bill, I wonder if they have realized and checked their polls lately, because they just keep going down. And I hope and I pray to God that all the American people in all these states, that these Republicans and Democrats like Baucus, the Democrat who voted against the bill, all of them. And he voted against the bill and he's retiring. He's not even running again. What is wrong with these stupid politicians? And how do we vote them in to do the job and they're stupid? Now, why do we continue to vote for these people? And my campaign on this show, apart from the I Love Me Crusade and apart from talking about Save a Life Jamaica Foundation, the next one and this one, I've talked about it a lot. We must stay away from voting come 2014. And if we see no results, 2016 for that matter. and let these politicians realize that we're serious. If you're not about doing our business in Washington, then you don't need to be there. You cannot be there talking about you're voting against a bill that is so important to the country. Talking about you don't want Obama to succeed. How infantile, stupid, ridiculous this sounds. And as I welcome each and every one of you from around the world and in the United States, I am sure that all those international people are going, are these people for real? They hate Obama that much that they're going to vote against a bill that is 90% at least of the American people support? So how do we vote these guys in? There should be a way to get rid of Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Don Boehner, Mitch McConnell, and everybody at one blow. Yeah. Because they are just being crazy. How can they do this? And there's one called, what, Flake Floyd, something of the sort, from Arizona. He's a junior senator. You know, I'm just incensed when I watch the news. Sometimes you're just find yourself getting riled up, you know, and wondering, what can I do? So what can I do? I've decided to use this show for however many of you are watching. And I know that if it's one person watching, that person can tell their Facebook friends, or they can email it and send the email, and the email continues and continues. No vote for these senators. And I see that MSNBC and all the other channels are shaming these guys, but I don't think they have no shame. Because if they had shame, they would have voted yes. And stop talking about their hating Obama. President Obama is not in power to whip these Republicans into their senses. They should be doing what the American people sent them to Washington to do. And that's simple. And it should be simple. That's what they do. So why are we getting, you know, this whole thing about Republicans? And when Toomey said it yesterday, I think everyone was shocked. I'm not shocked, because I already knew that everything they do, even though they believe in the thing that they're voting against, is just to be a hater against President Barack Obama. And there's another set of folks who are talking about, you know, they're comparing President Obama to all the past presidents and how this president was such a leader and Obama is not a leader. A leader doesn't have to go whip people into doing their job. Why does a leader have to do that? I don't think a leader's job is to whip you into doing your job that you were hired for or you were elected for. And there's something that those people, like Koki, I heard saying it on Morning Joe one morning. I think she forgot that all the presidents of the past were white, W-H-I-T-E. And for the first time, we have an African-American black man who just happens to be black and white. So how do we compare him and his results to those who are white? Are we supposed to? Is that a fair comparison? Are we supposed to really do that? And there's some who are asking the question, and the question is, why Obama's recovery has failed. Do you really need to ask that question? It has failed because his name is Barack Hussein Obama and he is black. That's the reason. Because all those businessmen who are hoarding money and can hire people to help the unemployed and help the statistics that, you know, take with a grain of salt, if you will. They're the ones holding the purse strings, and most of them, who knew, are Republicans. Yes. So who do we blame for all that's happening in America? We can start with AIG. We can start with all the problems otherwise on Wall Street. I think we have short memories. And we can start with George W. Bush, who took us into wars that were not necessary. We can blame Dick Cheney, who likes to talk a lot of crap all the time, who was the instigator, as we are told, of all these wars. So who do we blame? How about Condoleezza Rice, former Secretary of State? We can continue to blame a lot of people. But should we continue to make the American people suffer, who are innocent of all of this crap that's going on in Washington? And all they need is for the Republicans and Democrats that they send to Washington after an election, please go and do our business. Marco Rubio from Florida, all he's doing is going around to different states and trying to promote himself as running for president in 2016. What is it about that? And I beg all Floridians, do not vote for Marco Rubio. He's a Tea Party candidate and an obstructionist, part of the obstruction team of the Republicans in Washington. Do not vote for Mitch McConnell, who is running again in Kentucky. I don't care who is running against him. Do not vote for him. And how about trying to oust some of those who are there? How can we do that? Like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz. Someone need to shut them up. Because you cannot manage or govern from a place of hate and obstruction. It doesn't work like that. The word compromise come to mind. The word negotiation come to mind. The word no one gets all that they want. But the words that should not come to mind are hate of Obama, working against Obama, obstructing Obama. Those words should not come to mind when you're voting on any bill, whether it's gun control or immigration or whatever it is. When do we stop? And I pray to the Almighty God, who is the only one that can stop us in our tracks, through his son Jesus, to make us do the right thing. How can we teach Republicans to do the right thing? How can we do that? How can we beg them? How can we plead to them? How can we jam the phones in Washington to their offices? How do we do this? How do we get our beautiful America to move forward? Like the slogan said for President Obama's last campaign in 2012. How can we move forward? How long are we going to be stuck in this miry hole of hate and jealousy and envy? Because you know that a lot of them who are voting against President Obama is because they wish they were the president. Like Rand Paul, who's wishing and wanting and hoping he's president. No, Senator Rand Paul, you are a doctor, a medical doctor, and you really don't even deserve to be where you are. Because I know it's because of your dad. You're riding on his coattails. And Mr. Ted Cruz, I don't know, you came from Texas with your anger. I don't know where and who bothered you, but you look like an angry young man. And Mitch McConnell absolutely hates himself and all that is around him. And I think Speaker Boehner is suffering from, oh my God, my daughter is marrying a Jamaican dreadlocks. So why should I like this black man who is running the presidency? Take that up with your daughter, Speaker Boehner. And I'm serious. These guys just need to get their act together. And until we stand up as a people and do not vote for them any longer. So like in Kentucky, when Senator McConnell goes to the poll, he should be the only one there. And no one else in Kentucky should go to the polls. Let's see what he does then. And when time for Marco Rubio to run again as senator in Florida, if he doesn't become president, because it seems like that's his dream. So I wonder why he lied in his book about the fact that his parents, his family came here because they were running from Castro, when he knew that they came here because they're immigrants like all of us who are coming to seek a better life in the great United States of America. Why did he lie? So does he think that we're not going to go back and look into that book? And does he think that we are not watching him on the immigration bill? And does he not think that we're watching him jumping from place to place to go and give speeches when he should be doing his job in Washington? I wonder if he thinks we're not watching. And I guess Speaker Boehner did not expect it to come out in the media that his daughter was marrying a Jamaican dreadlocks who is a construction worker who went to jail or was arrested twice for possession of drugs. Maybe he just didn't think that the media would pick that up and we would not know. Anything that happens in the dark comes out to light. So as Toomey spilled the beans yesterday and told us the real reason why the bill failed, as if we never knew. I knew. I don't know about you, but I knew. They just voted against it just to stick it to President Obama. But you're not hurting President Obama. It's the American people, stupid. It's the gun violence victims, stupid. It's Gary Gifford and her husband, stupid. It's all the victims in Aurora. And can I just go on and on and on and on? Wow. What a shame. It's disgraceful. It's despicable that we can have a government that's governing through the emotion of hate. So let us pray for each and every one of them today and ask God to come down and supernaturally show them his power and strike each and every one of them who voted against the bill because they hate Obama, and show them a sign. And Portman, who changed his vote because he wanted his son to get equal treatment because he found out he's gay, and then he voted against the background check gun control bill. Wow. These guys, they lie. They're hypocrites. And then when they come back to their district, oh, they try to be so nice and sweet because they want to get your vote. Don't vote. No more elections. We should all stay home unless we see some improvement and the fact that these politicians are refusing to lie and continue to do the people's business. So how are we going to prove that? We're going to, because God is going to give us and show us the way to do it. Yes, he will. Because he is the only more powerful one than all of those who are strutting around and pushing their chests out and acting as if they own the world, because they don't. So I ask each and every one of you today, as you continue to love yourself, continue to try and live in the supernatural and let your spirit speak to you. So they're saying that the bill is dead. The bill should not be dead, and people should not give up, like the daughter that I see on television each night trying to keep her mother's name alive, the principal of Sandy Hook Elementary in Connecticut. Can you all feel her pain? Her grief? And then Ayat says to her, oh, I'm so, feeling sympathy, but I vote against it anyway. Losers and liars, they all are. Republicans and Democrats alike, who were wimps, who did not have the courage to vote for the people of America instead of hating President Obama and being jealous that they're not president and being envious that they're not president. Get a life, all of you politicians. And we people who you think are stupid should stop voting for each and every one of you. So, there you go. Ha ha ha. Let's keep on trucking here as we welcome each and every one of you from around the world and in the United States. This is the Diana Wright Show live. I am Diana Wright, and I am telling you to not vote until politicians stop lying to us and stop spewing hate and obstruction in Washington against a man who was fairly and squarely put there by the people of this country. His name is President Barack Obama. And you can throw the Hussein in if you like. So, let's continue. And I remind you to like us on Facebook. You know, I talk about the love button on Facebook. I know there's no love button on Facebook, but I only try to deal with the word love and I love me. That's my theme. That's a song I wrote. It's copyrighted. I have it on disc. And I will figure out a way to play it for you and to open the show with it very soon. We're working on that. Because it's mine. Errol Moore did the music in Atlanta. And now we're moving to the t-shirts. And we encourage you to buy them in my web store online at dianawrighttv.webs.com. And we invite you and encourage you and try to inspire you to love yourself each and every day. And when my book comes out, Deadly Negligence, you will see the reason I am so positive, the reason I'm living in the supernatural every day, and the reason that I know for sure that if you don't love yourself, you won't get through those tragedies that each and every one of us will have. If yours didn't come yet, watch out. It's coming. So, but if you have faith and trust and believe in God and know that through his son Jesus, all things are possible, well, I'm here to say to you, you need to just jump up and praise and say hallelujah right now. Because whatever you're hoping for and whatever you're expecting out of that box that you open every day, your box of blessings, I say for you to just say thank you, God. And be grateful that you're not lying on your back in a hospital bed, unable to move, unable to pee on your own, unable to eat on your own, and all those bad things that can happen. Eating through a tube in your stomach. So, but at the end of that journey with God, through his son Jesus, and as I try to spread the word on this show and encourage you and inspire you to get out of that depressed state and that suicidal thought that's in your mind right now, go read the book, the Bible. It will encourage you. You need no other book, and you don't need anyone else to fix you. You can fix yourself. Fix yourself by looking in the mirror and saying, thank you, God, for making me, and I love me how you made me. So here we go with some other stories. Don't forget that when you go to the website, if you miss a show, just go down on the bottom of the page and you will see the YouTube icon and you click on it. And there you'll see the shows that you've missed. Take some time to look. Spread the word. Tell a friend. And you will see you will just about get some inspiration to continue. No matter where you are. And it's not about where you start. It's how you finish. Don't forget that. There are no hockey puck-like hamburgers or rubbery hot dogs at Public School 244. No chicken nuggets made from who knows what either. That's because in Queens, New York, elementary school has just become the first public school in New York City and perhaps the first in the nation to go all vegetarian. I think Dax will be very happy about this. And this comes to us through the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. At lunchtime, kids at PS244 will now tuck into tofu wraps, veggie chili, black beans, cheddar quesadillas, and lots of fresh vegetables. Meals sculpted with help from a non-profit healthy school food initiative. Did you know there was such an initiative? Oops. So, New York City Schools Chancellor Dennis Walcott called the school trailblazing and added, "We're toasting the decision with a broccoli spare and a Beano." Isn't that wonderful? I know Dax is gonna love that one because I think that's a wow, and that's kudos for New York City School PS 244. Yes, we congratulate you, and we hope that lots of other schools will continue in the same trend, but we hope that when you go on the veggie route, you will make sure all the vegetables are washed properly, all those fruits are washed properly, and all the traces of salmonella and E. coli is not there, seriously speaking. So, as we congratulate you, we also give caution. Now, my favorite series on television, Downton Abbey, has included a black actor to the cast of the very popular series. As you know, that the entire America, they even have Downton Abbey cocktail parties when the series begin. I think season 4 is coming up in the fall. He is Gary Carr, a British actor. He will play Jack Rose, a charming and charismatic jazz singer. Carr thanked his fans for their support, and he is only 26 years old, and he plays the role of Fidel in a BBC crime drama, Death in Paradise. Okay, so if you're like me, just waiting for the fall to come to watch the 4th season of Downton Abbey, then you'll be happy to see a black man has now joined the cast. And he's not going to be playing the butler or the outside guy. He's going to be playing a jazz, charismatic, wonderful actor. Yes. Okay, so we thank you for that to the producers of Downton Abbey. And Saudi Arabia, a country where women still are not permitted to drive by themselves, has launched a provocative new anti-domestic abuse campaign. Now, when I read that story, I thought to myself, are the people in the Arab world just about realizing that there's abuse of women in their nations? So I kept reading, as I will keep reading for you. The startling ad shows a Saudi woman in a typical veil sporting a black eye. I saw the black eye. I saw the picture before I read the story, and I thought, what's this about? Underneath the photo, a caption reads, "Some things can't be covered. Fighting women's abuse together." So imagine that. They're going to be fighting women's abuse in Saudi Arabia. The campaign, funded by the King Khalid Foundation, aims to provide legal protection for women and children victims of abuse in Saudi Arabia, and is encouraging Saudis to report cases of domestic violence to nearby help centers. Everyone knows it happens, said one man. His name is Mohammed, a shopkeeper in Souk Al-Owais, a bustling market in central Riyadh, in response to the new campaign. But I don't know, he said, if it's important enough or not just to show these pictures. If they're telling us about something we don't know, that's one thing. But what if we already know, he asks. Then what? Are they going to help these women? I am agreeing with him because I would like to know that. Is Saudi Arabia about to help women who are being abused by their husbands? The vendor, a single mother of 8 children who can barely eke out a living in this oil-rich, male-dominated society, was largely left unimpressed by the pioneering initiative to raise awareness of a social taboo. Inshallah, that means God willing, it will help, he said. But that's only for physical abuse. Who will care about the psychological and emotional abuse that women like me suffer? That's what one woman said. Women here have so many problems, and domestic abuse is just one of them. So that's the reason I keep telling you, wherever you are on this planet, if you are free to vote and do all the things that you need to do and you don't have to cover your face with a veil unless you want to, because if you want to, it's fine, but you shouldn't be forced to. Indeed, for most ordinary citizens like Mohammed, women have much larger issues to deal with in a country where men still have to be relied upon for almost every administrative matter. The majority of female graduates are left without employment opportunities and have to rely on a male guardian to get permission to travel outside the country. This is so interesting because when I watched HGTV as they showed a program about people who migrate to Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi and those countries, and how these American women struggle because they have to get permission in writing from their husbands to get a driver's license, and they're going, what? But here we are. These women are there struggling. They're not American women. They were born into the culture. Divorced women are largely denied the custody of their children. So you get a divorce in Saudi Arabia, you can't have the children, honey, even though you're the mother, because men rule. The Saudi press has recently been replete with stories of abuse towards expatriate maids and foreign workers. Did you hear me? A few months ago, the tragic story of a Saudi cleric who raped and murdered his 5-year-old daughter made international headlines. Yes, it did. The fact that the man was not sentenced to death for his crime sparked outrage and condemnation by both the press and the public. However, stories or reports that focus on battered wives are far less common within the national newspapers. Official statistics on domestic abuse in Saudi Arabia are sketchy, to say the least. Princess Amera Al-Tawil, a passionate women's rights advocate and the vice chairwoman of the board of the Al-Walid bin Talal Foundation, sees the campaign as an important step in the right direction. So, you have to give it some positive. They're starting from some place. It might not be where you want them to be, but they're beginning. So let's be thankful. She said the main issue when it comes to abused women in Saudi Arabia is lack of knowledge. Some women who accept being abused don't know their rights in Islam. And a lot of women who are suffering from abuse don't know their rights in our legal system, she says. That they can report their case and they will be protected by the government. That's what Miss Al-Tawid said. But is that true? Or are these women just so filled and consumed and overwhelmed with fear that they don't want to, report anything because they think no one is going to help them? That is why such a campaign is vital, to let women know, especially in rural areas, their rights, that such acts are not acceptable and cannot be tolerated, not only for a woman's safety, but for her kids as well. The first step for women to protect themselves is not to be afraid to speak up. So this is not just for Saudi Arabia and the Arab world. This is also for the United States. Some women who are married to powerful women and they're afraid to speak up. They're afraid to say they're being abused because they are so terrified that people will work against them instead of helping them. So if you're being abused today, look in that mirror and say, I love me. 3 little words. And the word love and the word God will give you the power that you need to not only report this crime, because it is a crime, but God will give you the supernatural power and courage to move on and to be well and to heal and for your children to be safe. Because why are we staying in these relationships where we are being abused, especially physically? There's verbal abuse, of course, and there's emotional abuse. Verbal abuse, some women can fight their way, pretty good. But the emotional and the physical, the psychological, it's difficult. So women, you need to stand up, be counted, pray as hard as you can. God will hear you if you're being abused. And just like you face a bully, you need to face your husband who's abusing you. So I'm asking you to do that because it's important. And here we go with another story. History isn't always doomed to repeat itself, is it? If one of your parents has high blood pressure, you're much more likely to develop the condition yourself. Who knew? I know that. Exercise, however, can drastically cut your risk, according to a new study released this week in hypertension. How much? The researchers studied 6,000 people who didn't have high blood pressure initially and followed them for 5 years to see who developed the condition. Those who were fit with a family history of high blood pressure had a 34% lower risk of developing the disease than people who were unfit and had a family history. So if you have a family history of high blood pressure like your mother or your father, please exercise. Being fit is crucial. Fitness was determined by a treadmill test at the beginning of the study. Speaking of fitness, get into the best shape of your life with going and doing some exercise. You don't have to be a marathon runner to get these benefits, says study author Robin P. Shook, MS of the University of South Carolina. Even people who are moderately fit, those who match the American Heart Association's recommendation of brisk walking for only 150 minutes per week, were significantly less likely to suffer their family's fate. Exercise opens up your blood vessels, which keeps pressure in your veins and arteries at normal levels. So I'm encouraging you, just like I encourage myself every day. I don't want to exercise every day. My hair gets messed up. I'm hurting and in pain. My shoulders hurt sometimes. But I know that exercise is good for me. It will keep me healthy. It will keep that high blood pressure away and keep my pressure normal. So I am encouraging you as I encourage myself every day. Forget about the hair. You can straighten it out in the morning with a iron or something. One of them comb things. Right? But your health is so much more important. Your wellness, as Dax would say, is so much more important than anything else. So do some exercise. And if you don't want to lift the weights and do the Pilates and the yoga and all the things that other people try to do, and just run in place. If you don't want to go out and walk, run in place. Move your hands and run in place for 20 minutes. You will see how much you sweat and how much your heart rate gets up and your pulse, Just do that. You don't have to leave your house. I don't like to go out and walk like a lot of people, because I hate those bugs that are getting in your ears and in your hair and everything else. But if you commit, just go in your room, turn the TV on, watch your favorite show, and by the time the show finishes, that half an hour program, I try to go for the hour, but if when you're starting, 20 minutes is good. Just run in place, and move your arms and run like you're running outside. And if you have bad knees, strap those knees and do it anyway. Because the more you exercise and the more you run in places, the stronger those knees are going to become. Just try not to hurt yourself or damage yourself. And if you can't run in place, just walk in place, march. Everybody can do that. And do it for 30 minutes and feel your heart rate going up. And you begin to sweat. Now, don't do it with the AC on, 74. Leave the AC up there at 78, 79 so that, it's not too cool in the house so you won't sweat. You need to sweat. Sweating is important. And it's healthy to sweat. So forget about the makeup and all them, mascara things and whatever. I wish I could come on the program without any makeup, but you can't because, you will kind of just wash out. So, but on the days I'm not here talking to you and welcoming you from around the world and in the United States, I have no makeup on my face. I allow my face to breathe. So please, I encourage you, especially if you have a family history of high blood pressure, please get on that treadmill that you have your clothes hanging on in your room. Take the clothes off. Use it. Take your clothes off that bicycle that you have in your room. Bike. Run in place. Walk in place. 30 minutes a day. You actually need to do it 6 times for the week. Yeah. It sounds really bad, right? They used to tell you 3 times a week, but I don't know. I don't think that works. 6 days a week, you only need 1 day's rest. And if you can go the 7th day, okay, good. I cheer you on. All right? So please, I'm encouraging you. No, forget about the smile and the laughter. It's serious. It's serious business. We're losing too many people because of high blood pressure and strokes and heart disease when we can adjust our diets. Some people have a hereditary, problem with their heart and stuff like that. And we know that it cannot be fixed unless medically and all of that good stuff. But I'm talking to each and every one of you, just like myself. If you have a family history, try to check it. Keep it in check. And don't allow yourself to go down just because you didn't change your diet. Okay. Former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. When you reflect, you can always see the forest through the trees. And when I heard what she said, I felt good about it because it was the right thing for her to say. I just wish she said it when she was actually on the bench and was part of the voting. So let me begin again. Former U.S. Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor expressed doubts that the nation's highest court should have ruled on the controversial Bush versus Gore case that decided the outcome of the 2000 presidential election. My goodness, praise God. It took the case and decided it at a time when it was still a big election issue, O'Connor told the Chicago Tribune editorial board last Friday. Maybe the court should have said, "We're not going to take it. Goodbye." Wow. The case, she said, stirred up the public and gave the court a less than perfect reputation. Absolutely. Because people from that day really don't trust or take Supreme Court decisions that big or that seriously anymore. They really don't. Apart from the fact that Roberts, voted and allowed President Obama's health care law to go through. It's just amazing that the Supreme Court actually did that in 2000. And Justice O'Connor now is coming out and saying, obviously the court did reach a decision and thought it had to reach a decision, she said. It turned out the election authorities in Florida hadn't done a real good job there and kind of messed it up. And probably the Supreme Court added to the problem at the end of the day. God be praised, I always say. O'Connor, who was appointed to the court by Ronald Reagan in 1981, was part of the 5-4 majority deciding to stop the recount in the critical battleground state of Florida. So can you imagine if she had voted the other way? What would have happened? Who knew? Who knows? You never know. But it's nice to know that she actually came out and spoke about it. And for that, I give her high praise. I'm only sorry that she waited until she got off the bench and was part of the whole debacle and did not let her voice be heard at that time. Because I'm sure she didn't just develop this thought. She had it. That's a wow story for tomorrow. Okay, we're getting into the health and beauty business right now. Thanks to wrinkle erasing Botox, bleach concoctions that restore teeth to their youthful pearliness, and dermal fillers that buoy saggy skin, or youth-obsessed culture has embraced the idea that 40 is the new 30. So if you're 40 years old, actually in reality, you're only 30. And if you're 50, you're only 40. That's great. And if you're 60, you're only 50. We go on and on and on, but that's great. But while cosmetic and pharmaceutical advances have made it easier for us to lie convincingly about our age, new research suggests that collectively we are aging faster, not slower, than previous generations. A study published in the European Journal of Preventative Cardiology found that, on average, adults today are 15 years older than previous generations at the same age. Thanks to diets high in salt, sugar, and fat, along with poor exercise habits, adults today are in worse health and are more likely to suffer from metabolic disorders, including high blood pressure, that I just talked about, diabetes, and obesity. Over a period of 25 years, the study authors tracked 6,000 people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. The purpose of the study was to determine whether one generation had a different risk profile from the one born 10 years earlier. The researchers determined that men now in their 30s are 20% more likely to be overweight than 30-something men in previous generations were, and that women in their 20s are twice as likely to be obese in their 20s as 20-something women were 10 years ago. While the incidence of metabolic disorders increased with age across the board, the fact that today's adults are suffering from those conditions at an earlier age means that they'll spend a greater percentage of their life being sick. It isn't yet known whether the earlier onset of diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure will ultimately lead to reduced life expectancy, currently 78.49 years in the United States, but it doesn't seem impossible. So what can you do to avoid being 30 on the outside and old beyond your years on the inside? The study researchers stressed the importance of maintaining a healthy body weight through increased physical activity and a balanced diet. So here we go again. Wellness, wellness, wellness. How can we say it? How many words? How many twisted ways can we repeat it? We're just trying to help you to be well. And here we go again. Almost half a century after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed racial discrimination in schools and other public places, black and white students in Georgia's rural Wilcox County danced together for the first time at a prom last weekend. Someone says, I feel like we are living Martin Luther King's dream. That was a student named Alexis Miller. Miller, who is white, attended Saturday's event with her black boyfriend. Racially segregated proms have been held in Wilcox County almost every year since the school's integration in the 1970s. In a long-standing tradition, parents raise money to host separate dances. The community referred to one as the black prom and the other as the white prom. Traditionally, most students were welcome to the black prom, but an unwritten rule kept students of different races from attending the white prom. Wilcox County High School was quick to point out on its website that it hasn't organized or hosted the segregated proms that have been traditional. It called the events private parties over which it has no influence. How lie, you lie. Additionally, the school hosts an integrated dance called the Military Ball and says it will discuss making next year's prom an inclusive event, said a school official. However, the NAACP has put the onus on Georgia Governor Nathan Deal, starting a petition calling on him to put an end to segregated proms, homecomings, and other school-related social events. Can you imagine? Georgia, a state that I truly like. Actually, I really like Atlanta, okay? Let's just get that straight. It's Atlanta that I love, not Georgia per se. Because some of these things are just crazy. Georgia NAACP joins call for integrated proms after students plan their own dance. But perhaps nothing had as much impact as Facebook page, started by the small group of students who organized the integrated prom. So you see how powerful and mighty Facebook is. As of Monday, that's this Monday, with the prom finished, the page carrying the banner, "Love has no color." It had 30,000 likes on Facebook. So many donors came forward from as far away as Australia. Hello, Aussies. That the students say they have money left over to help local families in need. And the publicity brought in DJs from Atlanta and Texas to provide the music. The students' appeal was simple and from the heart. How many times do I tell you you live from your heart? How many times do I tell you the word love is better than the word hate? How many times do I say to you, I love me? 3 powerful words. And teach even your enemies to love themselves. We live in rural South Georgia where not too many things change, the page says. Well, as a group of adamant high school seniors, we want to make a difference in our community. For the first time in the history of our country, we plan to have an integrated prom. On its website, Wilcox County Schools praised the efforts of the student organizers, saying they were seeking to right the wrongs of the past. And I'm going to leave it there because that's a wow story for the week. And as I go through them tomorrow with Dax, I want to hear his thoughts. I'd love to hear yours. Like us on Facebook. This is the Diana Wright Show Live. We welcome you from around the world and in the United States. We thank you for joining us each and every day. And we thank you for spreading the word through your Facebook page just like that young woman did. Because what are we spreading? We're spreading the crusade, I love me. We're spreading the word love. We're trying to eliminate the word hate, envy, jealousy. And we're trying to promote forgiveness. So please help us. Like us on Facebook and spread the word so we can have 30,000, 100,000, 150,000, millions loving themselves and teaching their children to love themselves. And we can help millions to come out of their depression and their suicidal thoughts as they're thinking right now. We can help them to come out of it and move forward and read the good book that is called the Bible to help you get out. Yes, in the Bible there are wars and things happening and, fighting and killing. And yes, they crucified Jesus. Remember that? So that's why I know for sure that no matter what you go through, you are not being crucified like Jesus was crucified. But yet, he rose from the dead and did great things with the power and supernatural power given to him by his Father. And we have that same supernatural power. So let's use it for something positive. Make a difference. Speak up. And Republicans, I'm asking you to hear me now. Stop the hate for President Obama. It's about the American people, stupid Republicans and stupid Democrats who voted against the gun control bill and telling to me that you did it because you don't want Obama to succeed. You don't want Obama to win. That is stupid talk. So as I leave you today, and I thank you for joining me, and I encourage you to go to my website and go to my web store and buy the t-shirts for I Love Me. I encourage you to stay prayed up. Be blessed. Open your boxes of blessings every single day, whether they're gold or purple, whichever one you choose. Those are the only colors I'm giving you. Open them up and see the blessings that God is giving you for that day. And I ask you to stay with the Spirit, that small voice that speaks to each and every one of us. Develop it. Live in the supernatural and expect great things to happen in your life like I do. And teach your children to expect great things in their lives and let them tune out all the negatives that tell them they can't achieve or they're not expected to achieve. We should all expect our children to achieve at their greatest potential. And don't forget that each and every one of us need is an opportunity. An opportunity, a break, a hookup, whatever you want to call it, is the same thing. Let the right person be watching when you're on live. Let the right person decide that they want to help you to move forward. God can do that. It's not about where you're at right now. It's where you're going and where you'll end up and how many people you're actually helping. And how many souls I am winning for the kingdom of God. So thank you again for joining me today. And I hope that you can spread the word that the Diana Wright Show is back and it's live. Right here on DianaWrightTV.webs.com. Thanks again for being my guest for the day. And I hope that you will have a blessed day. And as you stay prayed up, believe that your prayer will be answered. And believe that you receive. And when you get it, just receive it with grace. Please don't question God. Just take it, thank him, and enjoy it. And move along and keep on pressing. Let no one deter you from your dreams and your hopes and your beliefs. Because God is the only power that can open that door and let you go through it. And once he opens it up, he's the only one that can shut it. Have a great day. Adios. Au revoir. Ciao. And if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. Forgive someone who has done you wrong today and teach them to love themselves. 3 little words. I love me. This way I'm supposed to do it. The Diana Wright Show. Woo! Woo! Here we go. The Diana Wright Show. Okay, I'm being silly today.